And a $484 billion relief bill signed by President Trump today. It adds more money for the small businesses that keep paying their workers. The first round ran out in less than 2 weeks.
News 3's Tiffany Lane spoke with a few Las Vegans who are counting on the loans to keep their doors open.
That measure includes $310 billion in funds to the Paycheck Protection Program, as well as $60 billion to SBA's disaster assistance loans and grants, providing hope for anyone who hasn't received assistance yet.
This has been really hard. This has really hit us.
Pilar Fish and her husband John are having a challenging time since shutting their doors at John Fish Jewelers, a 65-year-old family business.
Having the business closed means not making money.
She says they applied for PPP and economic injury disaster loans as soon as they became available in the first round.
We haven't heard yet. So that's our only hope right now.
Fish is not the only one waiting. Ted Guerrero is teaching martial arts classes out of his garage as his studio remains closed.
I'm doing like online lessons. So basically we're just trying to offer some services to mitigate, the losses, because people, if they can't go in.
The Las Vegas resident who owns a studio in California applied for the economic injury disaster loan.
So we submitted that on our end, but then I want to say a couple days later, we got an email saying, hey, we have a streamlined version now.
But he says a recent call from the Small Business Administration sounds like he may be getting approved soon.
It's crazy on the news and all that stuff. You're hearing all these big companies are got a lot of money.
The SBA has issued guidance making it unlikely that big publicly traded companies can access the new round of funding. Both Fish and Guerrero say the loans will help keep their businesses going.
If we get the loans, that will truly help us be able to, help us for the business to survive.
If I don't get this EIDL loan and all that, then there's just no way I'm going to be able to maintain my facility. Doesn't mean I won't stop teaching classes.
In a statement released today, the SBA said it will resume accepting PPP loan applications on Monday. Reporting in Las Vegas, I'm Tiffany Lane for News 3.
For millions of Americans, quarantining to stay healthy has made our wallets feel sick. The pandemic has cost jobs. The experts at NerdWallet tell us close to a third of Americans are dipping into emergency funds. 17% of us are asking for higher credit card limits. The federal government started cutting stimulus checks, but those NerdWallet experts don't think you should use it to stimulate the economy.
It is really important to prioritize essentials during this period. So when you get the stimulus check, thinking about putting it towards things like rent, groceries, that's really at the top of the list.
Kimberly Palmer is a personal finance expert. She says when it comes to the stimulus, rent or mortgage should be prioritized, groceries second. If you don't have an emergency fund, stash as much of that stimulus cash away as you can. The quarantine should be a lesson in preparedness.
If you don't need the money for really immediate needs like groceries, paying for your housing, then you can think about putting it into something like an online high-yield savings account. So that way you know it's growing even in this low interest rate environment, and you have it as an emergency savings fund. So if you need it.
Finally, if the stimulus just is not enough, if you're still having a hard time paying those bills, ask for help. Credit card issuers and banks are offering assistance if you lose your income due to COVID-19. John Trainer, News 3.
Hey there, so there you have it, guys. The draft is in the books, and you're looking at the first ever Las Vegas Raiders draft class. All they did was pick 4 offensive guys and 3 defensive players, including a special teams war daddy, as Tanner Muse so eloquently put it when describing what he brings to the team. Good luck beating that description, huh? I think that one takes the cake. Now, today, the Raiders added the last 2 guys you saw there, trading up to take yet another Clemson Tiger and guard John Simpson. And they capped off the draft, taking Louisiana State corner Amik Robertson. Here's what the pundits had to say about the picks.
Dominant. Think about as a run blocker, drives that defender off the ball. You can pull, knocks defenders off their path. The guy that I think is a good prospect, I think is a guard going to the Raiders, certainly to help Derek Carr and that offense along the interior. He had tremendous ball skills, 16 pass breakups, 5 interceptions, 8 tackles for loss. Seems like a wide receiver playing corner, plays with that swagger.
I think you can make a case he's the best nickel cornerback in this entire draft.
How about that? All that on day 3. Raiders fans, you got to be happy about that, but you aren't the only ones. We talked to GM Mike Mayock about what his biggest thing is that he likes about this new corner.
He had 14 career interceptions, He's always around the football. He's an instinctual kid. He's not afraid to go make a play, and I think that's underrated. He's looking to make plays, and it's interesting because when he gets beat occasionally, it's because he's trying to make plays. So yeah, we need to get much better at taking the football away on defense, and this is the kind of kid that thrives on that.
But hey, we're not done with the Raiders just yet. Get this, after going undrafted, former UNLV star Javen White signed with the Silver and Black and as an undrafted free agent today. The kid's a Swiss Army knife, and guess what? He's, again, sticking around in Vegas. And in some more good news for one of our local guys, former Faith Lutheran and Boise State star John Malachon. He also signed a free agent deal, and he's heading to Tampa to fight for a spot to block for, guess who? Tom Brady. He told me he cannot wait for that opportunity. And get this, we've got some big news out of the NBA. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the NBA is allowing teams to open their facilities starting on May 1st to players in cities and states where local governments have eased stay-at-home orders. Now, obviously, that's a big step in the return of the game. No doubt we'll be keeping tabs on that one for sure. And speaking of the return of sports, you may have heard UFC is coming back on May 9th when they plan to hold 3 events in an 8-day period out in Jacksonville, Florida. Obviously, no fans will be in attendance for that, but there's no denying it's a stacked card for UFC 249, headlined by interim lightweight fight between Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje. There's also 10 other fights on the card, including a bantamweight title fight between Henry Cejudo and Dominique Cruz.
Regular businesses now have to worry about health and safety in a way that they've never had to before. That's what we do every week for the last 20 years. We're going to spend the money. We're going to spend what it costs. We have really smart people who've been working on this, and we're going to spend whatever it costs to make sure that the fighters, their camps, the commission, the referees, our production people, and everybody is safe that's going to go to this event.
So it's looking like Dana White's going to pull it off. May 9th, the date that he wants to bring sports back to us.
Yeah, right around the corner. And listen, if we have to do it without fans to begin with, just to keep everybody safe, at least we're getting some sports back, right?
Exactly, and I think that's a given. We'll definitely get something, but like you said, just no fans in attendance, or at least for now.
All right.